Hey, what's going on, guys? Just wanted to do a quick market overview before the week gets started on my top setups going into the week. I've got a few good ones. Definitely some corrective moves that are playing out. That's typically like when I setups that I'm looking at. First one right here is Great British Pound, Japanese Yen. Posted this over there on my Instagram. Really nice setup. We had this rising wedge right here, or this rising channel. We failed to make a higher high. That's a good sign. Either double top, you can kind of say it a few different ways. But price failed to make a higher high, and we had broke out of this corrective structure, and we also had a break of market structure. So quite a few confluences here pointing to downside bias. If we look right here, we had a strong impulse move down, and now we're just in this corrective structure where I think we need to let a little bit more time play out before looking for short positions. I'll go down to the 1 hour, tell you guys what I'm seeing. So we have this structure that's starting to form. And I want to be a little bit patient on this one. I can definitely see price moving back up here to the top of this channel. So I could definitely see price moving back up to this top of this channel right here before completing its downside move. Just the way we're moving down, we kind of have this nice base right here. And typically these patterns, these corrective structures like to form multiple touches. Typically we look for 3 touches, so it's possible that it could, bounce around in here. But would not be surprised to see, a rejection here, and it might be a good entry if we get some candlestick confirmation. But I mean, clear structure here. We had this break structure, double top, break of market structure here. We broke the previous higher low, and we had a nice impulse, and now we're just having a corrective structure forming. It just needs a little bit more patience. It's very possible that price could just melt right down as Japanese yen has shown a lot of strength last week. Very possible we could just have a breakdown, but this would be the highest probability setup right here, looking for a short at the top of the structure if we get rejection here. So I definitely think there's a long way down for GBP JPY if we get this confirmation. Setup looks pretty clean. I'll go on to the next pair, see what we have. Here we go. Australian dollar versus the CAD. I'm on the 6-hour time frame here. We had a nice inverse head and shoulders here. We had a break of the neckline. There was a lot of confluences and a lot of different ways to look at it. We had a nice impulse, correction, impulse, inverse head and shoulders. Like I said, a few different ways to look at it, but all of them are pointing bullish. We had this breakout, but we don't want to enter on these impulsive moves. If you would have got a breakout entry right here, that would have been a solid entry. But now that we already have this impulse that's formed, we're going to want to wait for some sort of correction to form here. So I'll go down to the 2 hour. There's nothing clear yet. I would like to see, let me delete this real quick. I would like to see a more clear corrective structure form, some sort of flag, something, to give us a clear entry. If we can get something like this, sorry, my drawing skills are subpar. If we can get something like this, that would be, A1 entry right here for, the next impulse move up. But nothing clear yet. I am forecasting that we'll have some sort of chop in here, but we need to wait for a more clean corrective structure to form. Price definitely could just, straight line dive and then straight V bottom out of there. That's very possible, but we need some sort of, if we can get something like this, some sort of corrective structure here. Like I said, there's nothing clear yet, but this is the area where I'd be looking for, long entries. Is in this area. If we continue to pull back, form some chop, until we get the next impulse move up. That's how price moves. Impulses, corrections, impulses, corrections, impulses. So definitely bullish here. But like I said, probably towards midweek, maybe Tuesday, Wednesday is when I could see a lot of these starting to get a lot more clear. Like I said, this is a 6-hour time frame. It's one of the higher time frames. So just need a little bit more clarity here. But you also have this first higher low put in. Like I said, there's a lot of different ways you can view it, but all of them are pointing bullish. So that's my thoughts on AUD-CAD. Let's go to the next one. We did that one. Okay, USD CAD. So as I mentioned in my last video on US dollar and DXY, definitely looking bearish for the coming weeks, but there could be a slight pullback in a lot of the USD pairs. USD CAD already had this pullback. I don't trade, what you call a retest. I wouldn't just trade this off of a retest and rejection here. I've not seen that to be profitable in my opinion. I would like to wait for a more clear corrective structure to form here. So if we can get something on the lines of this, if we can get something like this, that would be a lot more clear to me. It's very possible that I might not even get a setup here to form. We could just go right down here, and this was our first lower high, and then we just moved down, and you know, that's okay. But I want to be looking for this because this is a good setup. We broke this wedge pattern here. We had a break of market structure here. This was our previous higher low. We had this higher low, we formed a higher high, and we broke that. So we have a break of market structure, a break of this wedge pattern. So now I'm looking for downside, potential downside bias, but I need something clear here. Same thing I said previously on, I think it was GBP, JPY. If you would have got a breakout entry here, great entry. You might be break even right now, but you could have took some profit on the way down. But I would like to see something a little more clear here. It could look something a little bit like this. We could, it could be in a multitude of different ways, but I'd like to see some more chop, some more correctiveness, so then we can get, a clear corrective structure. This would be, potential bearish pennant, potential bearish flag, whatever you want to call it. I just need a little bit more. So same thing I said on some of the other ones. We're getting some good initial outlooks on, how these could play out, but nothing is super clear yet on a few of these. That's why I mentioned earlier, Tuesday, Wednesday, I think we'll see a lot more clarity. Possibly even sooner than that, but I would like to see a little more clarity here on these structures, but I wanted to show you guys what I'm seeing because I am looking for potential downside bias. If we break back into this pattern up here and start doing something like this, then, bias might change. You move with the market, you adapt, you evolve. But as of right now, I need a little bit more. I need a little bit more juice from the market to tell me what it wants to do. Something like this, that's what I'd be looking for. On UC, so like I said on the last few ones, just give it a little bit of time to form these corrective structures. Hopefully, it might not. So hopefully we can get something like that and we can look for potential shorts here. But overall, this one's looking pretty clean. We'll head over to the next one. We got CAD, Swiss franc. I like this setup a lot, actually. So let me zoom out a little bit so you guys can see this 6-hour time frame. Actually, I'll go a little higher. I'll go to the 8 hours so you can see this a little more clear. So if we look left, I always look left so I can see where price is coming from, what was happening previously to give me an idea on where we're at now. So we were in this, bearish channel right here. We were forming lower highs, lower lows, and we had a break of market structure. Where is it? Right here. We had a break of market structure. We broke this previous lower high. Right here, we actually failed to make we were making this lower low right here. We had a lower low right here, and price failed to make, another lower low. And it actually formed its first higher low, and we had a break of market structure here. We had a clear impulse move up, and we've had a really long corrective structure that's formed. I'm on the 8-hour time frame, so this has been quite a lot of chop here. We had this impulse move up, corrective structure, and we're waiting for the next impulse move to the upside, excuse me. So we have this rejection off of this uptrend line as well. This is my invalidation level. If we end up coming back down here, we just slam back down and we break this level, then adapt and evolve, and we might be looking to the downside. But as of right now, this looks like a clear impulse and correction. It doesn't look like the cute flags you see on the Instagram photos. They're just perfect little tight flags, and then it's just clean entry. That's just not how the market works all the time. Sometimes you get those, and they're great. Everyone loves those. But you have to be able to zoom out and see this. If you're zoomed in real tight right here, you're like, oh, this looks super choppy and gross. I want to stay away from this one. But just zoom out. It's a clear impulse and corrective structure. It's just not as pretty as you're used to. So I wouldn't take anything down here. My entry would be on the breakout of this, this trend line right here. If you wanted to wait for some sort of corrective structure, some people like to wait for a retest, but kind of how I have shown here. But I'd be looking for a breakout above this level right here. If we can get a breakout, I'd be targeting this key level here. But this one looks pretty clean. I think a lot of people might overlook this pair because it's been choppy for, I think this was back in February 24th. So a couple weeks now, it's just been choppy and pretty ugly. But if you zoom out, to me, it's clear as day. Sure, price could continue to move to the downside and go to this invalidation level, and then I'd be looking for shorts. It's no sweat off my brow. If I'm wrong on my upside bias, I'll change with the market. I'll just go look for shorts now because then we have a break of this structure here. Then I'd be looking for something like this, But as of right now, everything's still intact. We bounced off this trend line right here, but I'd be looking for an entry in this area right here. So pretty clean setup. I think this is the last one. UJ, posted this on my Instagram. Really clean. Same bias on DXY and US dollar overall. We've had a really, really strong impulse move down here. And typically after these impulses, you get some sort of quote unquote pullback or corrective structure. Same thing that happened here. we had a really strong move to the upside. I mean, this is on the 8-hour time frame, consecutive big green bullish candles. And then what happened after that? Multiple days of sideways chop correction before the next impulse move up. So it's the same thing, it's just inverse. So, looking at stuff like this, I didn't plan to talk about this, but it's just the same thing I'm talking about here. It's just in the other direction. Impulse, corrective structure, impulse. So right now I'm just forecasting this same thing to happen here. And it's obviously not going to happen the exact same way, or else, everyone would just be waiting for something like this. It could be, a lot tighter like this. Let me take this off the screen. It could be a lower time frame correction. Let's go to the 4-hour time frame, or I'll go to the 3-hour. We had a lower time frame corrective structure right here before, the next move down. So it might be high and tight. It could be a lower time frame one, but with a large impulse like this on the higher time frames, typically you see a larger pullback. And we could end up retracing. It could be something like this. It could go all the way up here. And same thing. Sorry, my drawing's not great tonight. It could be something like this. There's a multitude of ways that this corrective structure could present itself, but ultimately what I'm looking for is a corrective structure to form. You don't want to just enter off of this huge impulse move down. I mean, sure, could price continue to just keep falling? Of course it could, but that doesn't give you the highest probability trade right here. I would be waiting for some sort of corrective structure to form. I've drawn a few different ones. It could look like a multitude of things. It could be something just real tight like this, and you just get the next move down. But I'm waiting for some sort of corrective structure to form to get a good entry. I don't want to enter on these impulses. I want to enter on corrections. We had this price could not break above here to save its life. Look how many times we rejected this on the 8-hour. You can call it a double top. You can call it a key resistance zone, whatever you want to call it. But price failed to make another higher high. We had been moving with higher highs, higher lows. We could not break above this level. And then we clearly broke this uptrend line. And I mean, the price shows it all right there. I don't need to say it. But ultimately, I'm looking for some sort of corrective structure to form. Let me see if there's any others that I was looking at. I'll go over EN real quick. This one's interesting. I'm on the 8-hour time frame, like I said. A nice double bottom. We were in this channel since January 24th. We've been in this downtrend channel for quite a while. We had a break of this channel. We had a break of BOS, just break of structure. We had a break of this previous lower high right here. We had a break of that, a strong impulse move up. What happens after an impulse? You get some sort of corrective structure before the next impulse, potentially. That's usually where the highest probability is when looking at breaks of market structure and whatnot. So I'll go down to the 4-hour. I'll go down to the 1-hour. It's not as clear and it's not as pretty as I would like it. Obviously we look for those golden setups that look just great. But what I'm seeing here is potentially, let me zoom out a little bit. This to me is, kind of our first higher low. We had this break of market structure. We put in a higher high. This looks like to be the first higher low before potentially moving up. I'll go back to the 1-hour. I mean, you could classify this as potentially I'm on the 1-hour, a little double bottom right here. A little double bottom. We have this break of this trend line here. But I mean, this one, it's a little suspect to me. What would be way more clear when a structure looks this, I guess, gross. It doesn't look super pretty. When a structure looks like this, I wouldn't just take a breakout entry. This one doesn't look super clear to me. This corrective structure was a little odd. I would want to wait for a break of this previous lower high. So there was previous higher lows over here. I'm just on a smaller time frame, so there's little smaller trends within the big one. There's lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. We failed to make a lower low, and now I would want to see a break of this previous lower high. So it's the same thing I was just diagramming on the higher time frames. It's just a much smaller trend. This is a 1-hour small corrective structure trend. But I would want to see, if I was to look for a trade right here, I'd want to see something like this. Break the structure, and then probably a real smaller time frame corrective structure right here. Maybe it's on the 15-minute, maybe it's on the 1-hour. I'd want to see something right here. If we can get this right here, get a break of this little corrective structure, that to me would be a real good setup. I wouldn't take anything off the break right here. I'm not looking for longs right now. This would be nice. This is what I'd be looking for. So I wanted to show this one because it's a little interesting. It's a little different. It's not super pretty, but I still think it has good merit if we get the right setup. I'm just showing you potential setups that I've been seeing over the weekend that you guys should be looking for too. And this is something I would look for. I know it's might be a little confusing to some how I diagrammed that, but I'm just going from the higher time frames, working down to the lower time frames, and just looking at market structure, looking at where we're at. This was our first higher low. I showed you previously on the higher time frames, we broke that market structure, and this is what I'd be looking for in EN. But overall, those are my pairs for the week. When I look over the market on the weekends, what most people should do is pick out your top 6 to 10. It doesn't even need to be 10. Sometimes it can be 2 or 3. Sometimes the market is choppy and it's whipsawing, and maybe you're going into the week and you're only looking at 2 setups, and that's fine. You don't want to be over trading. You don't want to be trying to analyze 24 different pairs, 26 different pairs over the week, and you're scrambling and you're looking left and right for the next trade setup. Pick your 6 to 10. If I go over here, this watch list is called 6 to 10 for the week. I have my overall watch list, and then I just add them to the 6 to 10. And those are the ones I'm going to watch this week. Sure, I'll look around the market and see what's going on, but these are the ones I'm focused on. And I have a few in here that are just setups that I'm already in that I'm just watching. But just stay organized. You don't want to overtrade. Stay focused on a few good setups that look good and trade those ones. And if they don't play out, if they don't play out, they don't play out. But I think that just helps stay organized, and it's something I preach within my course, and I talk to a lot of people and just like, hey, keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate things, and look for a few good setups. Take those, and you're good for the week. But that's all I got for you guys. That's my weekly watch list. I wanted to get it out. Hopefully, some of you guys might be watching this on Monday morning, and some of these setups might have changed a bit, but wanted to get this out at least so you have an idea on what I'm looking for the week. But good luck this week, guys, and let me know if you guys have any questions.